29th of June, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashavua, Chukas. Thank God. Sorry I'm late. I was indisposed.
Okay.
Okay. Chumash.
Uh-oh, we lost Yechiel.
Whoa,
Oh, there
He's back. Okay.
he's back.
there he is.
Okay. I'd like to just for today and tomorrow, especially we've got a bit shorter time today. Let's jump to chapter 20.
20, okay.
Pasuk Aleph.
Pasuk Aleph, yeah. Whose turn is it to read? May I think.
Okay, 21, okay. It says, Vayavo b'nei Yisrael kol ha'edah midbar tzin v'chodesh rishon vayeshev ha'am b'kadesh v'tamat sham Miriam v'tikaver sham. Okay, so the children of Israel came, all of the assembly, okay.
Which seems like a tautology, right? An unnecessary addition.
Right.
A comment on this, okay?
Oh, okay. They came to Midbar Tzin, okay, on the first month, and the people dwelled, I guess, at Kadesh.
People stayed.
Oh,
right.
Stayed. Okay.
Okay, so they dwelt. I mean, it's the same idea. It means it was like a temporary dwelling.
Okay. Then it says Miriam died there, and she was buried there.
Okay.
Okay, so Rashi, let's see. It says Kol ha'edah. Edah ha'shlema, the entire assembly, okay. Or complete maybe, shlema, complete assembly. Shekavar meitu, meitei midbar. For already they who died, I guess, died in the...
Those Mesa Midbar, those who were destined to die in the desert had already died.
Oh, okay. The Elu Pirshu L'chaim. And these were separated, I guess,
Right.
for life. Oh. Okay. Okay, Vatamat Sham Miriam. Okay, and Miriam died there. Lama Nismecha Mitat Miriam. Okay, so why is this statement about Miriam? The Parsha.
Why is the death of Miriam
next to the Paraduma, the Parsha Paraduma? Lomar lecha, that is to say, ma karbanot mikaprin. Okay, so as offerings atone, af mitat tzadikim mikaperet. So does mitat, death, of the righteous.
The righteous also atones.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Okay. Now it's interesting that Rashi mentions it's a korban because korbanos, but the paraduma is not really a korban.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Huh.
In fact, they bring a gears over here that in the Gemara it says, just like paraduma mechaperes, so too does the Mises Tzadikim mechaperes. Doesn't have sacrifices. Okay, that's have they mentioned here in my note over here. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we also have a second one, Vatamat Sham Miriam, and Miriam died there. Afhi Benishika Meta. So she died.
She too
Oh,
died,
she died with a kiss.
kiss of death.
The kiss of death. Okay, umipnei ma lo ne'emar ba al pi Hashem.
So we have a general rule. It says Aaron died up here Hashem, and it says also by Moshe Rabbeinu. Also he died up here Hashem.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right. That's what she's going to go on to explain.
Okay.
It's not a respectful way to say that Kiviyachal that Kodesh Baruch Hu kissed Miriam.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's interesting.
So therefore, that's why it says Shom. She died there, and we learned out in Gezerah Shava that just like it says by Aaron, he died there, Al Pi Hashem. So to understand here, the two Miriam was also died Al Pi Hashem.
Right.
By the way, I think the Gemara says, I can't remember how many, says there's different forms of death, and the should we say the least form of death is the easiest form of death is Mises Neshika, like what happened to Aaron and Miriam and Moshe. And the worst is, I think it says Askara, Mises Askara, which means like suffocation. Which means that they're basically that the person, Mrs. Askram is like through diphtheria, that the person's glands swell and he can't breathe out thereby, and that causes him to suffocate and die. Okay? Unfortunately, I understand that certain people who had suffered from corona also died that way. But anyway, chas v'shalom. Yeah, the idea behind it is basically, I mean, what is the idea of Mises Neshika? Is that everybody is destined to die. Okay? Because that was the Gzeira imposed by Kodesh Baruch Hu after Adam Harishon ate from the Eitz Hadas. Okay, he was punished that all his descendants would die. Nobody would live eternally. However, those tzaddikim who are, should we say, have lived their life entirely, I call it maybe beyond their body, their physical body. It means they haven't indulged at all in physical pleasures, and they've minimized their connection to this world. So for them, for their soul to leave the body is not a major effort. Okay? It's just like the body, soul slips away because its connection to the body is minimal. However, chas v'shalom, somebody who's more connected to this world, right? Maybe a Kodesh Baruch Hu. I mean, this is all a Kodesh Baruch Hu's cheshbonos. I'm not saying, chas v'shalom, somebody who suffers like a death by suffocation, that he was such a person. I'm not saying that. Kodesh Baruch Hu has his cheshbonos, how he caused a person to die. But I'm just saying the concept of that, if the body is connected, the person is connected to the body, then his separation of the two will be more painful and difficult for him when it comes his time to leave. His soul leaves his body, and he dies. Okay.
Okay.
So I have a question about this.
Right.
Because a kiss is not a physical thing. Hashem doesn't kiss.
Yeah, but this is all, how do you call it? Anthropomorphisms.
Right. So
So
to
just
understand what it
what
means,
it means is when
you're saying that
if you want to analyze when two people kiss, person kisses the other, basically he is giving of his breath to the other person. So Kavayochel, HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself is like sucking out the soul from the person and taking it away. That's what we mean by the kiss of Hashem.
so and the Rashi says that or the commentary says that it's very gentle. So
Right. As I said, this is the easiest form of death. That's what the Gemara says.
So the statement of Rashi that says she'eno derech kavod shel ma'ala
Means you're right. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu actually gave Miriam, she died by the kiss of death. And you're right, it doesn't mean that HaKadosh Baruch Hu kissed her. It means he just kind of sucked away her soul, away from the body. Okay, that's what it means. But since that terminology is used to describe such a form of death, it's not respectful to say that Hashem did it to a woman. That's basically that's what we're saying.
but we're not saying it's not respectful. We're saying it's not covered.
Right, it means it's not that the form of death is not respectful. To mention it, to terminologize HaKadosh Baruch Hu doing such a thing with a woman is not respectful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Because Hashem is a man?
Well, he's always portrayed in the masculine.
Not always.
Oh, yes.
How about the Shekhinah? That's feminine, isn't it?
The Shekhinah is a terminology. Shekhinah is feminine, yes. But
Also the name Shakai.
Shakai is also masculine.
I understand it's feminine. It comes from the same root as the word for breast.
No. Rashi says in the very
Shadaim are breasts.
Yeah, correct. But that's the word shakai means, Rashi says in a few places, Shaddai ba'olamoi, we quoted from Bereshis. Hold on a second. I think that's the first place where it appears. Where is it? Anikel shakai, prayer of Salak Lefonai v'Yesami. It's the first time Kadosh Baruch Hu mentions the term shakai. If you hold on 1 second, Bereshis. And we're up to end of Lech Lecha. Next Parsha. Where is it? Next one. Yeah. Chapter Bereshis Perek Yud Zayin Pasuk Aleph.
Right? Yud Zayin Aleph.
Bereshis Yud Zayin Aleph. Now let me show you what Rashi says there. Rashi says, "Ani kel shakai, ani hu sheyesh dai belokusi, bekol beria." Means I have sufficient. I'm all sufficient. I think that's how I translate it. The Kosh Baruch Hu Shaddai means the Kosh Baruch Hu is all sufficient. He can provide anything. The kol beria for every. It's a should we say not quite acronym is the right term. It's a abbreviation of the word Shaddai. Comes from the word Shaddai ba'olam. Here Rashi says Shaddai ba'elokusi. the Koberia. לפיכך יצא לפניי ואין לכל הלקה ולפאצ'י, וכן כל מקום שבמקרא פירוש ככה, די שלוי. Shakai means dai shaloi means there's enough. Kosh Baruch Hu has sufficient power and resources to provide anything.
Right, which is exactly consistent with the idea of a breast.
You're right. I'm saying, but it's masculine. It's not feminine.
How has what you just said demonstrated it's masculine?
No, I'm just taking a statement of fact, not necessarily that it is the fact that the breasts are considered feminine is not because a woman has breasts. Any part of the body which comes in pairs is a feminine term. Einayim, oznayim, birkayim, yodayim, raglayim, all feminine. Nothing to do with the fact that it's pregnant to a woman more than a man.
But
So
what I
that's
learned was that the name Shakai indicates nurturing, and that's in feminine quality.
I don't know. It could be right, but I'm just telling you that the name Shakai is masculine.
At any rate, Hashem is not physical. Hashem is not masculine or feminine.
I understand, but he's always termed in the masculine.
So there's no problem with Hashem kissing Miriam.
Because it's belief, shall we say, it is not dignified to describe that Kodesh Baruch Hu would kiss a woman. Since generally a man kissing a woman is generally indicates expression of a love between them, and especially with a physical connection to it, is not dignified and respectful to say that Hashem kissed Miriam.
And why is it dignified or respectful to say that Hashem kissed Moshe or Aaron?
Yeah, because when two men kiss, it doesn't have the same physical connotation as it has when a man kisses a woman. Very simple.
No, it's worse. It's homosexuality.
Oh, come on. When I kiss my friend, there's no indication whatsoever of come on. When I kiss my friend, I think there's any whatever that I'm broaching or encroaching on any kind of homosexual act. Chas v'shalom.
Neither is there when I kiss my mother.
No. Be honest with yourself. Just it's not on.
Okay. Weiter.
Weiter. Yeah, weiter. Okay, another one point is, I'm just going back on what Rashi says previously. The Rashi says, Af misas mir tzadikim mechaperes. Why is the death of Miriam juxtaposed to Paraduma, to say that just as Paraduma acts as an atonement, so too the death of Miriam also acts as an atonement. Now it's interesting. The Mefarshim asks that why is the section about Paraduma placed over here in Parshas Chukas? Rashi mentions in the beginning in Parsha Shmini, which the Gemara actually mentions, that Paraduma was one of the sections, the mitzvahs which were given to Klal Yisrael as soon as the Mishkan was built and set up to run, to serve, to be the place where to offer korbanos. So on that day, a number of significant parshas was said to Klal Yisrael to pertinent to the fact that there was now a Mishkan. And one of them was the Parsha Paraduma. So it was given on Yom HaShmini of the Shmini L'Milui, which was Rosh Chodesh Nisan. because before there was a Mishkan, the Parah Adumah couldn't be burned because you couldn't sprinkle towards the Mishkan because there wasn't one there. So therefore, that's why it had to be delayed. It was given on that time. So what's it doing here in Parshas Chukas between the story of Korach and this story of Miriam's passing and subsequently Moshe Rabbeinu and Moshe and Aaron, should we say, falling as a result of hitting the rock instead of speaking to the rock, as we're going to see about. So what's he doing there? So some Mepharshim say, Dafka, this is, in other words, the 2 points, one answers the other. That the death of Miriam is in the right place. This is where it happened historically, in the order of events. And the Torah put Parah Adumah over here to indicate to you that just like Parah Adumah atones, so too the death of Tzaddikim atones. So the death of Miriam is in the right place. It's in its place in the order of events. But the Torah, shall we say, removed the Parah Adumah from its suitable place in Parsha Shmini, somewhere around there, or in Chumash Vayikra, and they placed it here to Dafka juxtapose Parah Adumah to the death of Miriam. Okay. Pasuk base. Lou. Hello?
Below Haya Mayim La Edah Vayika Halu Al Moshe Al Aharon. Okay, there is a Rashi, so let's see. There was no water for the assembly, and they gathered together against Moshe and against Aaron.
They congregated against.
What?
They congregated.
Congregated?
Yeah. Lashon kahal.
What is that? What is there between that and gathered?
Nothing really. I'm just a more. It means if you gather, it means that each one's maybe on his own, but they're not necessarily gathering as a group. Whereas where they congregated means they all came together as a group and they came with their complaints against Moshe and Aaron.
Okay? I see. Below Haya Mayim Le'eda, there was no water for the assembly. Mikan, from here, Shekol Arba'im Shana, that all the 40 years, Haya Lahem Haba'er, they had a well, Bizchus Miriam, in the merit of Miriam.
Yeah.
Huh.
Right. Okay, the be'er, the well, in other words, the source of water was B'schus Miriam. Okay, I think we stop here.
Okay.
Tomorrow we'll pick up over here.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Fine. Have a very good day.
Very good. Have a good day and a good Chodesh.
Good Kodesh.
Chodesh. Kol tov.
All to. Okay. Okay.